the hand. And well, we should be seeing a pretty good match because both of these teams have played quite well through the course of the tournament. And looking at the lineups, we are yet again in for pretty fun games. The home map is going to be chosen first for SonsOfDurin, as the first 2 rounds of the bad luck bracket have been chosen randomly. Basically equal everyone's chances of advancing into the next rounds, and we are right now looking at the Ghost Lake as the home map of SonsOfDurin, and the gods so far Thomas Shelby as Poseidon. Would be expecting that he will be switching into something different on a map like this. Vestlulsark UV is Thor, Mikahe is Oranos, and last player from SonsOfDurin Legend Jarl is Thor, whereas for the opponents we are going to be finishing after Thomas Shelby, who has just switched into Loki, with Hero OP, who is so far random, but going to be probably sticking with Oranos. I think that he is playing Oranos, or rather has played in the last matches, and Miracleman so far Gaia, but would be also expecting that he'll be switching into some kind of better Atlantean for aggression, like exactly the Oranos. Let's get ready. The teams don't really matter. He seems to be apparently sticking here OP random, interestingly enough. Whereas, of course, Miracleman is switching into Oranos. So, really, kind of interesting choice right now by Hero OP. And it will be curious to see if he is maybe even slightly underestimated his opponents or not. You can see he's getting Ra, which is not an ideal god for an aggressive lineup of their opponents. But still, it's not really all that tragic and might be working, especially if they get good spawn with a lot of gold behind their bases. We are right now starting with having a look at Sisu Mikahe. On the very left side you can see pretty decent amount of berries, but so far he doesn't see any hunt. Is there something somewhere close by? I'll be thinking that there should be at least aurochs or maybe even boars. See that he's right now scouting with the goatees to find that as soon as possible. Well, let's see if he's going to be successful, because so far he isn't, and he's not really finding anything at all. You can see that even at the top, through the oracle and through all the goats, nothing at all. And he is finally finding at least a few polar bears, but that's definitely not the hunt that you want to be something to rely on. And, well, luckily, he does find some caribous at the back, and that's going to be exactly what he needs to go for. In the meantime, quite nice jump, teleport, so that he saves some time with the walk-in with the villager. He's moving on onto the hunt, and I think that's a better choice than just staying with the berries, because since he did go for the hunting dogs, it will be an extra economy for him, and it should be basically making up for the downtime that this villager wasn't gathering anything for, like, I don't know, 20 seconds that he was walking. And for Atlanteans, I don't really expect that could be, or rather should be, any kind of big problem. In the meantime, Vestlulsark UV is in the pocket as one of the Thors. So far discovering just the big TCs, of course, and some extra polar bears, nothing extra above that. Definitely will be interested in the back gold mines, because if they are going to be behind the Vestlulsark, there is a pretty good possibility that it's going to be also behind the opponent's players. But we haven't really found anything interesting all that much just yet. Yeah, this is just a hill, nothing like, it looked like almost some kind of hunt on the minimap, which definitely isn't the case, but we are looking at Legend Jarl on the right, who is locking onto Auroch, and that means that he should be having pretty much a normal start, but we would be expecting that he should be really scouting a bit more to the front. Don't really like the scouting to the back all that much, especially since he's north, so he can definitely afford to gather from the resources at the top. But he probably thinks that the hunt in the middle is going to be just fine, but I don't really like that all that much, because of course this is Vestlulsark's hunt, and I'm fully expecting he's moving there right now. That's not really ideal gameplay by now by him, as he should be looking in the front, as I would be expecting hunt could be just around this forest. I really would be expecting that there is some kind of hunt for him to be had, and this is not really ideal for his teammate, because of course he's having just berries at the back, and yeah, this will be pretty hard for them. So let's see how they deal with it. In the meantime, first relic, trio of monkeys could be useful for early game, as we are going to be expecting a lot of raiding from them. And we are going to be looking if the hunt is somewhere close by to the front TC. So far not any kind of luck. And is there something in there? Well, interestingly enough, so far nothing. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Right now you can see that basically they are moving one to the left, all of them. So purple basically up of the red player, whereas red up to the green. Whereas where the green is gonna go, not really sure, but he is still having the caribous in the back that he is already using, so it's not really any kind of problem. Just a very interestingly low hand spawn of the Ghost Lake. Better infantry attack versus Titans could be better. Cavalry speed, that's a very nice one. But let's have a look at the opponents who are already going to be advancing into the next ages, especially the Oranos, as he does have the temple. And how's it looking with his food sources? He is so far still on the hunt in the front. Basically similar to what the opponents are having, and otherwise a lot of berries. Of course, the ones in his base still quite ready, but it seems like really this is going to be a pretty interesting map and might be favoring exactly Dara. So some lads might be getting lucky, because of course on low hunt maps, Egyptians are usually the ones that are having the advantage, especially with gold mines like these. Yeah, those two gold mines, those exactly 3 gold mines are going to be super important right now for Dara, because if he happens to lose some kind of fight for the front TC, which to be honest right now seems kind of unlikely, as he's having the villagers already on the hunt in here, he might be in a bit of a problems in late-ish game, even the mid-late game, but with the gold at the back, he doesn't really need to worry about anything at all. We are going to be seeing the gods for city coming up, of course, kinda late-ish advance at about 5 minutes, but on the low hunt map, it's not really anything that would be all that surprising. Right now, at least the Oranos is advancing basically at the same time, and we are also seeing that the pickaxe is coming up the economy guild for the green player, as he is dropping counter barracks first and military barracks as well. So 1 Murmillo, 1 Turma, that's going to be the army for the green player. Otherwise, on the top side, it seems like basically the absolutely same strategy from Miracle Man. Also going for 1 military, 1 counter barracks. Nicely building it around his gold so that he's protected from raiding from the back. It's nicely played. And we are right now looking that both Thors, or rather Loki and Thors and whatever, are advancing at pretty much the same time, so everybody playing very similar strategies overall. We are seeing pickaxe right now for the Loki at the top. Whereas at the bottom, what are we looking at with the Thor? Already pickaxe and handaxe, both of them, and red player having nothing. So that seems like a bit different, or rather some kind of a deviation in here, and this is the reason. Because Besluvsak UV needed the extra resources for the back TC. Kinda interesting that he doesn't go for the front one, because he should be expecting that probably they will be the ones that should be having the upper hand in the attack, but apparently that's not happening. Miracleman quite nicely scouting right between the town centers. He should probably be seeing all of them, rather both of them. Definitely has seen the one on the left. And then the gold at the very back, probably just going to be hiding there so that it isn't coming into enemy hands. Yeah, right now looking at that, purple player is going to be arriving rather right next to Bill's base, trying to see what is happening in there. Better scout unit LOS, not useful, as we are right now looking at a bit of a battle on the left as Mikahei together with his blue teammate Thomas Shelby, or rather opponent Thomas Shelby, are going to be fighting also with Miracle Man, and we are just waiting for Besluvsak to be joining as well, so that it is a proper 2v2, because so far Mikahei is just alone, and that's not a great deal for him. Now looking at Valkyrie, just looking for something to set on fire. Through the forest fire, of course. Having one hero, Romeo, actually behind her. Yeah, not great. And right now with the rain, that's of course going to be delaying the forest fire, which is not ideal because this got power. It's all that much more powerful in the earlier game, and with the minutes coming into the gameplay, it's getting weaker and weaker by the time. In the meantime, we are seeing that Mikahei is doing a pretty great job actually defending against 2 players, having pretty decent army. With the 1-1 Murmilos and Turmas, whereas Miracle Man is so far not really having all that great army, but that's because he is going for a second TC, so he's not investing all that much. And I'm kinda curious if this is going to be working for Besluvsak UV, because he already is at least trying to make use of the extra rain with the 2 farms in there, and trying to basically outboom their opponents. I'm kinda expecting that since he's Thor, yeah, and already dropping Dwarven Armory, he might be going for some fast Ragnarok. Definitely would be some kind of good idea for him, as we are looking at Legend Jarl with cheaper walls and gates. Huh, that's actually a pretty great relic that he should be taken to home, not really risking losing it right next to his opponent, because of course, with Hathor coming up, the walls are coming up from both the teal player and from the blue one, so they are thinking about defensive, and as an Egyptian, it's exactly something that they should be doing. In the meantime, Thomas Shelby is breaking through the wall of red. together with yellow and to have some fun against red's economy. Yeah, it needs to be a bit more careful, as even though he's probably right now going to be advancing into Bragi sometime soon as he is booming, so yeah, this really does seem like fast Ragnarok from him. He needs to be getting some kind of help, and the help is gonna come from Legend Jarl and also from Mikahei, so all of the players are helping each other. Is exactly what you like to see in a team game. Finish with the walling quite nicely on the right, so Legend Jarl basically going to be concentrating on the defense, not really giving any hard time to his opponents. So that's kind of interesting to note, and I'm kind of curious how the opponents will react to this, because they should be right now seeing that they're not going to be having all that much of a raiding, because this is going to be one of the last ones I'll be expecting. And we are right now looking at a pretty big battle with Shockwave being cast by Miracleman to catch the Green Army off guard, but with Legend Jarl coming into the fun as well, carrying the relic. Yeah, he's gonna kill at least the troll, which is of course quite valuable as well, because every mythical unit dead means easier time for the Atlanteans who intervene the trio of helpful monkeys, which will help him as well with the extra units in the early game. Valkyrie is still running around trying to find something to forest fire, and I'm kinda thinking that actually he might want to keep it and not really use it on economy. Because looking at the walling of their opponents, this could be a very easy way into your opponent's base. For example, if you cast it here, you can see those houses are quite close. There is some kind of space between the tree line. Click into here. But maybe it could be actually coming onto them. But if he casts Forest Fire a bit later into this, he would be basically opening his way to maybe even the Ragnarok right into the opponent's base. So that could be something that the Forest Fire might be used for a bit better than just now going for some kind of economy. Yeah, green having a bit of fun with yellow. I mean, just basically Turmas going for a bit raiding, but of course Mikahei should be also building a bit of walls, as it's just a bit of shame to be running around doing nothing while he could be the one raiding, and especially since you are using basically your whole army to run behind just a few units of your opponent. A Sulsak through Skadi, interestingly enough, not going through Bragi. So that's going to be a bit different Ragnarok, as we are right now looking at... where is he cast? On the gold, of course. With pretty decent radiant right now, and if he plays this correctly, he's going to be killing a whole lot of villages extra. Still needs to be careful about the locusts moving around, because these guys are pretty much dead. Have a look at this. Those poor terrorists gonna do absolutely anything, and yet he's doing exactly what he needs to do. And if he micros this properly, oh man, this is going to be all the villages dead. Not only those that just from the locust, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 cores dead. This is 7th, and basically all the rest just waiting for the distraction to happen yet again. Yeah, he's just going to be running behind them, deploy, and have a bit of fun. And this is going to be the fun in here. And poor Legend Jarl will definitely have to come up with some throwing axemen, which is exactly what's happening right now. And yep, this is the point where those dudes need to run away, as Beslusak UV is also setting up himself right next to the front DC of his ally, which is a great idea, especially since he is right now raiding on the opponent's gold exactly as he was raided himself, and going to be preventing at least the siege works. Doesn't seem like that Migdol will be coming up just soon. Must shall be through Bragi. Recent army already from Hero OP to defend against the Loki, and something else. Not much, just still continue trading right now by yellow. As he's right now going to be seeing that Mikahei is coming for 30C, and well, Miracleman should be probably switching into that as well. You can see it's very nicely set up right next to gold, so he's protecting it for himself for posterity. He, of course, doesn't need to get behind in economy, even though he's probably right now going to be advancing into heroic, but same could be said for his opponent, because he is housed, and that means, yeah, 30C right now coming up, that he will be advancing pretty soon into Thea also. Right now going to be checking if maybe Thomas Shelby is going to be coming into Mythic sometime soon as well. I would be thinking so, because right now he is either stopping with the villages or basically running out, as he could be popped. Definitely could be. As we are looking that Legend Jarl is coming for 30C, and still the one in the front for Besuvsak UV is not being taken. And I'm slightly worried they might actually be underestimating this TC, even though it is scouted by the house at least, so it shouldn't be all that much of a surprise, it's still potentially going to be stealable by their opponents if their army is going to be somewhere else. But looking at the big economy by Besovsak UV, not really having all that many upgrades, but still the shaft mine is not half bad in there. We are going to be running out of gold for them, and they are having just one gold mine behind their base. Second one already been somewhere, I think, used. I don't really see it all that much. Basically just one gold mine at the back, and that means that they need to be super careful about the golds, and I'm thinking that Legend Jarl is exactly realizing the situation and needs to protect this gold mine and this gold mine and potentially something in the darkness, because I'll be thinking there is something in there because otherwise it would be a bit of a problem. And yep, exactly as I said it. We are looking at Thomas Shelby trying to steal the front DC, since there's absolutely no army. Like, literally none. You can see that right now Green is trying to go there, but with reinforcements from Thomas Shelby, it's not really all that much of a disruption. We are looking at also pretty strong battle right now happening on the right, with Hero BB under attack from both Besovsak and Legend Jarl. Are doing a pretty great job here in the fight. So Migdol should be coming down. They play it correctly, because they need to get rid of the villagers a bit faster than just bashing against the building, but with the reinforcements, yeah, it should be pretty much okay. And very easy job right now with finishing with this. Of course, the Frost Giant also being a pretty good tank, absorbing quite a lot of damage. Get some upgrades, we are seeing none. Reyes at the bottom, we are right now looking that Thomas Shelby is having been forced to actually fight against Mikehei. But since we have seen that Mikehei is having problems with having basically the same numbers as Thomas Shelby, and at the same time he is right now going to be raided by Miracleman, because yet again he is still not walled. His allies are walled, his opponents are walled. He isn't, and it's a pretty big problem, because you can see right now with the Locust Swarm of Mountain Giant, which is pretty lucky for Thomas Shelby, he is getting rid of the temple and getting into the red space, as he seems to be losing. But if it wasn't for the wars, he definitely would be, but the wars seem to be turning the battle around, and still, yeah, not a great time for Sons of Durin right about now. In the front, the Migdol has been at least taken down, but that's pretty much it. We are seeing that Legend Jarl is falling back a bit, as we are seeing Frost being cast, and that's basically a last minute thing, because he wants to stop the DC from coming up, and that's exactly what he needs to do, because the army is still trickling in, and he needs some time to recuperate. But of course, with the battle boars, they are definitely winning the battle. The DC is gonna come into opponent's hands. So Forest Fire right now being cast somewhere at the back. By Besovsak UV as basically defensive measure against Raiden on the gold, which definitely isn't working as much as you would have hoped. It's not going to be the way into opponent's base, as we were talking about it a bit earlier, and well, this was a pretty juicy Raiden. Yet again, a lot of villagers dead, but much more importantly, this will be not ideal for Besovsak, who is probably attempting to advance into Balder just now. Exactly. So he lost the villagers at basically the worst time available, and he will need to wait a bit with extra citizens so that his Ragnarok is the strongest possible. In the meantime, Thomas Shelby is quite nicely set up in this situation in here with Mythic Age from Helios coming from Miracleman, and a lot of boars. A lot of boars, which is definitely not going to be all that useful, of course, against Heroes of Ragnarok. But still, this is a problem, because this will cost Besovsak UV a lot of units to get this down. Before he is able to advance on his opponent's base. So, some upgrades, just Copper Mail, that's something coming up. Unfortunately not at all. Yeah, they're gonna die pretty easily, I'm afraid. So, it's going to be up to their opponents to actually build as much, or rather as many. As we are seeing Vortex right now being used by Miracleman to get all the army into the offensive in here to stop the Heroes of Ragnarok. To finish my thought with the heroes, they are gonna die very easily. Because of course, any kind of firing from the TCs, like the 45 TC with Masonry already, is going to be taking them a long time to get rid of, especially since we are seeing that we are having bronze, and copper already. They are with Thomas Shelby. Yeah, but since we are seeing right now a pretty decent amount of Steam Flame Birds, 3 of them against just 1 from their opponents, they should be helping quite nicely against all the army that Thomas Shelby is having here. TC is gonna coming down. gonna be coming down, but still it's taking quite a lot of time, and that's also because the missing upgrades, especially in the attack, and they make a whole lot of difference. It could have been helping him quite a lot. Right now I'm kinda interested how they're going to continue. He goes into the pocket basically to get rid of Thomas Shelby, or if he continues to the left, and I'm thinking that he should be basically continuing with Mika Hay to fight against Miracle Man, but Miracle Man is already getting ready with the Archive and Heavy Fanatics, as he's having a baseline of upgrades, and probably will be expecting some extra coming up reasonably soon. Yet Thomas Shelby already going to the left with Heavy throwing Axemen and all of bronze, whereas on the right we are looking at pretty tough time for Legend Jarl, who is right now going to be pushed by their hero OP, who seems to be having basically able to get back into the game, as he was under heavy pressure from their opponents, from his opponents, but so far that's not really happening anymore. Minion throwing Axemen and Ulf Jarls already with bronze copper. So could be still slightly better, but this shouldn't really be all that much of a problem for him. But still, he is right now in a tough situation, as hero OP is probably gonna attempt to drop a Migdol on him. Let's wait for those, as we are looking at Heroes of Ragnarok coming to the offensive, but at the same time they are getting killed in just too big numbers. You can see second flank on the left, but not doing all that great, even with the help from Mika Hay, and that means that basically his whole army is gonna get killed, and he is out of his Ragnarok heroes going to be rebuilding. But yeah, he didn't really do any kind of significant damage, because this Ragnarok basically all he did was get rid of the unfortunate DC that they underestimated in front of their bases. But let's see if maybe Mika Hay is going to be able to take advantage of this short help that he gets from the red player. Just copper shield, so missing the upgrades all around. The SonsOfDurin, unfortunately, for them. As we are also looking at them to stop the gold mining, is exactly happening at the correct placement, but still there is one extra gold mine, so not that much of a big problem. In the meantime, Legend Jarl is of course going to be fighting against this, trying to kill all the units. Yeah, that's a big bit of a risk with the villagers. You can see he's going to be losing a whole lot of them. That was a pretty bad idea. That was a pretty bad idea. He was probably trying to save the hill fort, and it was gone even before he engaged in there. So right now he is going to be pushing through into the gold mine, but still, it's costing him a whole lot of dwarves. That wasn't really ideal at all. In the meantime though, he seems to be doing alright, at least in the defense, having 45 DCs, a lot of Migdols, aka hill forts of course, for the Norse player, whereas in the pocket we are yet again seeing that Thomas Shelby is not giving up on the DC and still going to be having a bit of extra fight against the red player, who is of course camped at 2 TCs and without any kind of economy, as he is post Ragnarok, even though he does have pretty decent upgrades in there. Of course, Winter Harvest as well. And already champion after knowing Axemen. Well, just bronze, but that's alright. It's not all that bad, and we are seeing Vortex right now by the green player. Rather yellow. I was thinking that it was initially green, but these are just llamas, and this is very important right now, because basically both armies is going to be joining as well, as he definitely needs to, because that would be 2 armies from both Shelby and Miracle Man against Susaki UV, who has basically lost everything right about now, and yeah, he's having just this one on the right. Without proper help from his teammate, he wouldn't be able to defend like at all. Is he going to be captured? Good idea. Make use of the presence of his ally, who is having better upgrades and such. Bronze, copper, and heavy, whereas his opponent is having also heavy, but just copper shields. So not really all that ideal, and on the right we are seeing a bit of a switch in momentum, as Hero OP is right now the one being pushed, as the gold is just now being depleted, and that should basically mean that they need to be starting with trading as soon as possible, because if they don't, they're going to be running out of gold very soon, whereas their opponents, they are already trading in earnest, especially the Egyptian, who is quite soon, I'm thinking, will be expected to punish, or rather push out some mercenaries to help him defend. Interestingly enough, he's going for a bit of a tower spam, expecting the Ragnarok, but much more importantly, as we are seeing right now, a bit of a switch of units from Mika on the left, and he seems to be controlling the gold quite nicely, but to finish my thought a bit earlier, a Hero OP is still missing 45 TCs, so if Legendary actually goes for it strongly, he might be taking the TCs down quite easily. but this is unfortunate. This is like some kind of drop. Yeah, that sucks. The upgrades for purple are all bronze. That's much better Ragnarok from him. And even though the defense is really kind of sketchy in the red's base, with Ragnarok it should be kind of okay. But yet again, what Ragnarok is going to be doing is getting rid of the Thomas Shelby's fourth TC. Is exactly not something that they want to do all that much. Left are looking at, of course, the Vortex and coming into play and trying to get rid of Miracle Man in there, who is having basically the bulk of his army in the opponent's base, which means that he should be all that weaker on the left side. And it seems like that everything is just as it should be. Definitely good news for us. We'll let the players prepare their control groups and such, and we are in the meantime, of course, gonna have a look around the map as the Ragnarok has just been cast, and you can see that they've actually lost the shine on them. And Hero OP, yeah, just still in Heroic, and that's definitely true, because he still doesn't have the 45 TCs even, and he is having a bit of problems with this game, because even though he's having pretty good trade, it's kinda really curious that he doesn't have the next age at 22 minutes, of course, and that's something that he should be really working on quite a lot. This is the relic for walls and gates costs, which was basically carried by Legend Jarl a bit earlier. He wasn't able to manage to get it back into his home base. And well, we are seeing that, of course, the heroes of Ragnarok are having all bronze, which is going to be much better right now than Best Ulf Sark's Ragnarok itself. And he had about... he was pretty much popped. Yeah, it's not really half bad for him. And let's see how this Ragnarok can turn this game around, or maybe even not. We're really going to be curious about that. On the left side, or rather in the, well, left middle and some such, we are seeing that Thomas Shelby is having his hands full right now with trying to conquer his opponent's base with a few units from yellow, but of course this should be pretty easily counterable by the Ragnarok, because the throwing axemen are not really enough numbers. But looking at the amount of buildings in here and the fiery giants coming up as well, it might not really be all that easy for him, and without losses, especially with the flame weapons right now coming from both players. Yeah, there wasn't really any kind of counterplay from either of the teams as we are looking at the battle, which should basically quite easily go for the heroes of Ragnarok, as they are having 22 attack, whereas the Hersiers are having how much? 20. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference, especially with all the upgrades being in power. You can see the spam of fire giants being right now executed by Thomas Shelby, and yeah, even though the purple guys are of course winning, they are having pretty big problems because the military buildings from Thomas Shelby are allowing him to basically make up for that without any kind of problem. But let's see, and switch somewhere else, for example on the right, where of course Legend Jarl is moving forward on Hero OP, who is in pretty deep trouble, as without the upgrades on the buildings he was having just the one, yeah, right now Sunlight Mudbreak together with Masons, so not bad, but still it's not 45 TC. This one is coming down, and that's a pretty big problem, because I'll be expecting that the Migdol will be following close behind, and he doesn't even need... Oh! Right now it's up, and that's a bummer. That was literally last moment, and he's going to be losing all the units. Oh wow, that was super huge like for Hero OP. That was literally the last second upgrade, and without it he would be pretty much toast. The TC, but the OP survived, and in the middle we are seeing that of course Thomas Shelby is also doing a pretty great job in the defense. Exactly, because he's basically supplying units right on top of it, right on top of the Ragnarok, and that basically means that the heroes of Ragnarok are more or less dead. Thomas Shelby right now scouting with Nidhogg for the Vortex for the yellow player, and who is having a bit of fun with the TCs of course. And with the Ragnarok being pretty much dead, you can see basically these guys are one of the last units in here. We are seeing that green is also moving to the right and going to be helping with the defense, which means that he won't be able to push on his opponent, which was probably the idea that he hoped for, that he would be able to do. Yeah, a lot of Murmilos and Fanatics and whatnot fighting against each other. Some pretty decent upgrades on both sides, and the TC is gonna stand or not? No, it's not. Because the Siphon is going to be getting rid of it just at the nick of time, and even though he is trying to prepare it, it was just a bit too late, and even though exactly as they killed the last unit, with the last hit, very last hit of the Siphon, the TC is down, which is of course not ideal, and we are seeing that in the middle. Right now Best Ulf Sark is going to be yet again breached by Thomas Shelby, and we are seeing the resigns. So after the restore, it was just about to see how the Ragnarok will do, and unfortunately for SonsOfDurin, it didn't really do all that much. Well, so in the recorded game, we are not really going to be missing anything. And let's check the post game then, and move for game number 2. Thomas Shelby winning all. Yeah, he was playing well in the pocket. And the game deciding moment was definitely this TC, because it basically stopped 2 Ragnaroks. 2 Ragnaroks had to stop right next to the TC, and they basically lost all the power due to it. Oh yep. That was why I was saying a bit earlier that that was definitely underestimated by SonsOfDurin. Otherwise, in the economy, hero OP Azura, and in like 25-minute game, of course, makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, and yeah, you can see that he didn't even make it into Mythical Age, so in the end it didn't really matter as he have enough upgrades, and especially the clutch 45 TC. Let's save this town center on the right side. Together with the mercenaries, of course, has to be said. Well, GG.